Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Rama. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Enam Kanvantam Aravindanalaya Taksham Bhagavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandar Agom Vigamaniya Vishesha Shobham. Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Aniyasa sakalen Priya Priti Manti Pasyanti Panti Kayanti Jiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adi Purusham Amaham Bhajami 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 Govindam Adi
राधा श्याम सुंदर जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम गौर निताय गौर निताय गौर निताय जय गौर निताय गौर निताय ताय गौर निताय जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय शिल प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभु जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद श्री गुरु चरण पद्मा केवल भक्ति सदना श्री गुरु चरण पद्म केवल भगति साधना श्री गुरु चरण वंदमो सावधान मते वंदमो वंदमो सावधान मते वंदमो सावधान जहाद प्रसादे भाई भव हरियार जहाद प्रसादे भाई भव तरिया यार ए भवता कृष्ण प्राप्ति है ऐते कृष्ण प्राप्ति है कृष्ण प्राप्ति है ऐते कृष्ण प्राप्ति गुरुमुख पद्म वाक्यो चित्ते को गुरुमुख गुरुमुख पद्म वाक्य चित्ते करिया एक आर ना करी मने आशा ना कर आर ना करी मने आशा ना करी श्री गुरु रणरति ऐसे उत्तम गति श्री गुरु श्री गुरु चरण रति ऐसे उत्तम गति श्री गुरु चरण ये प्रसाद पूरे सर्व आशा ये प्रसाद ये प्रसाद पूरे सर्व आशा ये प्रसाद पूरे सर्व चक्षुदान दिलो जे जन्म जन्म प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय भक्तिया है ते अविद्या विनाशियाते प्रेम भक्तिया है प्रेम भक्तिया है अविद्या विनाश जाते वेद गाय जहाद चरितो वेद गाय वेद गाय याद चरित वेद गाया श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनार बंधु श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनार बंधु श्री गुरु करुणा लोकनाथ लोकेर जीवन लोकनाथ लोकनाथ लोकेर जीवन हाँ प्रभु करो दया देह मोरे पद छाया प्रभु कर दया हाँ प्रभु कर दया देह मोरे पद छाया ये बेया सगुसुति भुवाना ए बेया सगुसुति भुवाना आहा प्रभु करो दया देह मोरे पद छाया प्रभु कर एबे याद सुति भुवाना एबे याद सुति भु शिला प्रभुपाद पतित पावन शिला प्रभुपाद पतित पावन प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद निताई गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताई गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमो पदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे नमस्ते निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तो वृंदा श्री कृष्ण बोलो 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 श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि भक्तो हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, hey, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hey, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, hey, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Now Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare
Hare Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Gauranga Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Radhe Shyam. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hey! Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vrindavan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Ha! Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hey! Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai go Shitana Premanande, Hari Hari Bo. Hari Om Tat Sat. Dhanyavad. Hare Krishna. So now we're going to have a Srimad Bhagavatam class to be given by our Dina Bandhu Prabhu. We have Hindi Prabhachan at the Balaram Hall. So the Hindi speaking devotees, Chalo, Balaram Hall.
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yasoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yasoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jamuna Diravanajari. Jamuna Diravanajari. Jamuna Diravanajari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Pradjana Ranjana Yashodanandana Pradjana Ranjana Jamuna Diravanachari Jamuna Diravanachari Jamuna Diravanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Pradjana Ranjana Yashodanandana Pradjana Ranjana Jamuna Diravanachari Jamuna Jamuna Diravanachari Jamuna Diravanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Nityalila Vishram Vishnupad, His Divine Grace, the A.C. Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Ananta Gauri Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai Sri Rup Sanatana Patragana Sri Jeev Gopala Badhas Ragana Sad Goswami Prabhu ki Nama Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Go Shama Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhana ki Brajabhumi Vrindavan Dham ki Sri Sri Krishna Baldao ki Sri Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki Dai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotee. All glories to the assembled devotee. All glories to the assembled devotee. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to you, Srila Prabhupada. So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 13, Brahma stealing the boys and calves. translated and purported by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. These are the last verses that he translated and purported. So this is extremely relishable. And we only have a few more verses to go. It goes to 64. So we're on 47 and 48. Very beautiful verses. So there's actually two verses, but we'll do the first verse responsively, then we'll just read on with the second verse. Chaturbhuja Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. The Lord has 4 arms, we need 4 eyes. Gada Rajiva Panaya Kiritina Kundalino Harino Vanamalina Chaturbhuja Shankha Chakra Gara Rajiva Panaya Kiritina Kundalino Harino Vanamalina Chaturbhuja Shankha Chakra Gada Rajiva Panaya Kiritina Kundalino Harino Vanamalina Chaturbhuja Shankha Chakra Gada Rajiva Panaya Kiritina Kundalino Harino Vanamalina Lala. बढ़िया. Anyone else? Okay, we'll do the second verse myself. Srivats Angadado Ratna Kambu Kankana Panaya Nupurai Kata Katakair Bata Kati Shatranguli Yakai Chatu Bhujaha, having 4 arms. Shankha Chakra Gada, Rajiva Panaya, excuse me, holding conch shell, disc, club, and lotus flower in their hands. Kiritina, bearing helmets on their heads. Kundalinaha, wearing earrings. Harinaha, wearing pearl necklaces. Vanamalina, wearing garlands of forest flowers. Srivats Angadado Ratna Kambu Kankana Panaya, bearing the emblem of the goddess of fortune on their chest, armlets on the armlets on their arms, the Kaustubha gem on their necks, which were marked with 3 lines like a conch shell, and bracelets on their hands. Nupurai, with ornaments on their feet. Katakai, with bangles on their ankles. Bataha, appear beautiful. Kati Sutra Anguli Yakai, with sacred belts around the waist, and with rings on the fingers. So this is a very, very beautiful verse in Srimad Bhagavatam. It gives you something to meditate on. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. All those personalities had 4 arms, holding conch shell, disc, mace, and lotus flower in their hands. They wore helmets on their heads, earrings on their ears, garlands of forest flowers around their necks. On the upper portion of the right side of their chest was the emblem of the goddess of fortune. Furthermore, they wore armlets on their arms, the Kaustubha gem around their necks, which were marked with 3 lines, like a conch shell, and bracelets on their waists. With bangles on their ankles, ornaments on their feet, and sacred belts around their waists, they all appeared very beautiful. Something nice to meditate on, huh? All those personalities had 4 arms, holding conch shell, disc, mace, and lotus flower in their hands. They wore helmets on their heads, earrings on their ears, garlands of forest flowers around their necks. On the upper portion of the right side of their chests was the emblem of the goddess of fortune. Furthermore, they wore armlets on their arms, the Kaustubha gem around their necks, which were marked with 3 lines, like a conch shell, and bracelets on their waists, with bangles on their ankles, ornaments on their feet, sacred belts around their waists. They all appeared very beautiful. So here we have wonderful description of the Lord's form. Because sometimes less intelligent people, they accuse those who follow Vedic culture of worshipping idols. They have one verse, there should be no graven image. Image means imagination. Image means imagination. But here we find the description of the Lord in the Shastra. It's not by imagination that we make the form of the Lord. But the description is here in the Shastra. This is not image, it's not imagination. Fact. So purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. All the Vishnu forms had 4 arms with conch shell and other articles. But these characteristics are also possessed by those who attain Sarup Mukti in Vaikuntha, and who consequently have forms exactly like the form of the Lord. However, these Vishnu forms appearing before Lord Brahma also have Srivatsa and the Kaustubha gem, which are special characteristics possessed only by the Supreme Lord Himself. This proves that all these boys and calves were in fact direct expansions of Vishnu, the personality of Godhead, not merely His associates of Vaikuntha. Vishnu Himself is included within Krishna. All the opulences of Vishnu already present in Krishna, and consequently for Krishna to demonstrate so many Vishnu forms was actually not very astonishing. The Srivatsa mark is described by Tosini as being a curl of fine yellow hair on the upper portion of the right side of Lord Vishnu's chest. This mark is not for ordinary devotees. It is a special mark of Vishnu or Krishna. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksurun Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manubhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadandikam Adadanas Trinandantai Ridam Yache Puna Puna Srimad Rupa Padam Udulai Udulisyam Janma Janmani. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we'll read this wonderful translation one more time. All those personalities had 4 arms, holding conch shell, disc, mace, and lotus flower in their hands. They wore helmets on their heads, earrings on their ears, and garlands of forest flowers around their necks. On the upper portion of the right side of their chest was the emblem of the goddess of fortune. Furthermore, they wore armlets on their arms, the Kaustubha gem around their necks, which were marked with 3 lines like a conch shell, and bracelets on their waist, with bangles on their ankles, ornaments on their feet, and sacred belts around their waist. They all appeared very beautiful. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai. Oh. No, what's... All right. So, here we get it confirmed. We've been hearing, we've probably done this section of Bhagavatam this past time threadbare. Everybody's heard all the different explanations, but here Prabhupada gives some proofs. We've heard that all these boys were actually expansions of Krishna. So here we have the proof, because they all had Srivatsa. Here, nice description of Srivatsa. We've always wondered. It's described in Vaishnav Toshani, being a curl of fine yellow hair on the upper portion of the right side of Lord Vishnu's chest. This mark is not for ordinary devotees. It is a special mark of Vishnu or Krishna. Also describes that they were all wearing the Kaustubha gem. That is only worn by Krishna or Vishnu. So someone may have some doubt that these were all Vaikuntha associates, because Vaikuntha associates also have 4 arms, just like Vishnu. But here, special marks were there, this fine yellow hair on the right side of the upper portion of the chest, and this Kaustubha gem. So, as it's been described, this is incredible potency. Even Lord Balaram couldn't figure it out till almost a year later. This is the incredible potency. Prabhupada has given the example of glowworm. We call in Hindi Jugnu. And also he has his companion who flies around. I forget what is the Hindi in Brij Bhasa we call Pat Bijna. What do we call this firefly? What is the Hindi for firefly? Same. This little worm and the one that flies. So their light is insignificant. Light is very insignificant. Though still, it can be useful. Just like many years ago in the old days in Mayapur, there was no generator. So when the light went out, you were out of luck. And my dear friend Paramadviti Maharaj, he had gone to the bathroom. So light went out in the bathroom. No problem. We do the same thing every day, so we know what to do. But he happened to have a combination lock, number lock, on his door. So this was a problem, how to get back in the door. And then he remembered, Prabhupada gave an example. You see these little weaver birds, they make their nests hanging in the sticker tree, so nobody can bother them. Beautiful nests, with a little hole they go inside. And Prabhupada explains they put a little mud in the roof, in the ceiling, rather, and then they stick one of these juganus. So they have a light in their house. So he remembered that example. He saw one firefly was flying around because now with all the lights out, it was very easy to see. So he grabbed one, and when you hold it, usually they go blink, blink, blink. Jai, Sisi Gornitai, Sri Krishna Balaram, Sisi Radha Shamsuru. So ordinarily they go blink, 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 on and off. But if you hold them, they glow constantly. So by the constant glow of that little firefly, he was able to open his combination lock. So ordinarily totally insignificant, no use. But somehow Paramadviti Maharaj found us some use for this little creature. And that is described that Brahma, trying to steal the cowherd boys from Krishna, he was just like a juganu, a little firefly in front of the sun. Even with so many lights, they become insignificant. We can't, there's no comparison actually. The sun and a little juganu, there's no comparison. And that's Brahma. Like yesterday, Prabhuji said, what about ourselves? Compared to Brahma, we can't do anything. We're totally, what is our mystic power? Brahma creates the whole universe. We just make little things like cell phones and stuff. We're insignificant compared to Brahma. We have no mystic power whatsoever. And still we get very puffed up. I think, oh yes. I think, oh, I gave great class. After class, everybody, oh, Dina Bandhu, nice class. We're insignificant. So, and all these expansions were not just Vaikuntha associates. Here was described, they all had Srivatsa and Kostimajam. They were Vishnu himself. And Krishna is so powerful, even Balaram. And our acharyas had explained that Brahma didn't actually, how can the devotees of the Lord, pure devotees, especially the British, they're directly under the protection of Krishna. So how can Brahma even touch the cowherd boys? So it's described just like Sita. There was a Maya Sita. So Krishna made Maya cowherd boys, and he kept the other cowherd boys under his Yoga Maya potency. And Brahma didn't actually steal them, or the calves. Because they're directly under the protection of Krishna. Should we get doubt about Krishna? He wasn't able to protect his calves and his devotees? No, he kept them elsewhere. So, we've heard almost everything there is to hear about this pastime, but one Pandit in Vrindavan, He told me in one of the Puranas, there's very interesting history, because we've heard how Brahma just went away for a moment, and in that moment a whole year passed on the earth. So Krishna was worried that if Brahma takes him back to Brahmaloka, then maybe he'll get, somebody will stop him. All the demigods are always coming, bothering him with so many questions, and then he has to, just like your temple president or your GBC, you go there, there's a big sign, meeting going on, don't disturb. Huh? If Brahma gets involved in some meeting or taking care of some problem, he thought he went away for a moment. But we know meetings, we have a great sage in America named Murphy. And Murphy says a meeting is an event where minutes are kept and hours are lost. Yeah, we're having one. So then if one moment just going and coming was a year, then what will happen if he gets in meetings, so many hours are wasted? What will happen on the earth? All the pastimes will go out of sync. So Krishna expanded himself and he went to Brahmaloka and he told everybody there that some bogus Brahma is coming. Don't let him come. Some bogus Brahma is coming, don't let him come. So when he got there, everybody said, get out of here, you're fake. You're not the real Brahma. He was totally confused. But he only stayed there for a moment because nobody let him stay. So he came back after a moment, and now we're seeing what first of all, he saw that all the cowherd boys and calves were there still. Krishna was there, all the cowherd boys were there, all the calves were there, everything was just like he left it. Just like on this side of the highway, on our same side as us, there's a village right down the road here called Say. First of all, there's Parkam, that's where Krishna has decided to do Pariksha, to test. And after Parkam comes Say, because Brahma returned, and he saw everybody's there, and he said, are these the cowherd boys or those the guys? Say or Way? Say or Way? So that village became known as Say. Then next chapter we're going to read all the prayers. Just like we heard the announcement this morning that we had 65 Vrishbazis in Chomuha to chant one round of Hare Krishna mantra. So near Chomuha there's a little temple of Lord Brahma, although we've heard that there's no temples of Lord Brahma. One time I saw an article, it found well over 100 temples, 150 temples of Brahma all over. Especially if you go to Thailand, for some reason they're completely mad about Lord Brahma. Even the Hilton Hotel made this big modern hotel, and outside they have this golden Brahma sitting on a lotus flower. So just near Chomuha, there's a big housing development now. Beside that housing, you'll see some trees, some forest. When you see a little white building, somehow you follow the road and get to that little white building, and you'll find nice temple of Lord Brahma, where he offered his prayers to Krishna. All nearby, all these places are there. So Brahma returned, and he was totally shocked. We'll see here how when Brahma was totally bewildered, then Krishna wound everything up. Everything. Well, first of all, he expanded all those forms into Vishnu forms. Balaram, he was a little confused. He thought these were all very pious souls who, by their previous devotional service, they come to do their practice lifetime in Braj, and they go back to Goloka. But then he realized they're all Krishna, and all the calves are also Krishna. And here we have the proof that they all had, only Vishnu has Srivatsa, only Vishnu has Kaustubha gem. So he saw all of these cow boys and calves suddenly turn into Vishnu forms. And described so many living entities were dancing around them and praising, all the sages were praising them, so many things. And he saw it was unlimited. Whichever direction he looked, with his 4 heads, he couldn't see the end of it all. We can't imagine the power of Krishna. This is just one tiny little universe, and there's billions, there's unlimited universes. We can't imagine the potency of Krishna. Therefore, we always have to keep ourselves meek and humble. Then Krishna wound up everything, and he was just standing there, again looking for his cowherd boys and calves, with a lump of chipped rice and yogurt. And Bhagavatam says phalam. Phalam means fruit. But the Brishbasis told me that with their chipped rice and yogurt, they like to put some tenti achar. There's a special plant that it's just finished blooming. Doesn't have any leaf on it whatsoever. Sometimes weeds crawl up inside and you see leaves, but those are from something else. Only sharp twigs, only twigs, little green twigs, and sharp, very sharp thorns. But in the season that just passed, sprays and sprays of reddish orange flowers come. Looks like a fountain of red flowers. It's amazing. And now this season you'll see little bees will come and they'll expand into great big peas. That bush itself is called kareel. In Brijbasa language they call kareel. And the fruit is called tenti. The Brijbasis, they say, Kabul ka mewa or Braj ka tenti. Kabul has nice dried fruits, it's famous. And Braj, we just have this tenti. This is our dried fruit. So the Brishbasis like to take that and make achar. So if you ever, sometimes you're with me on Prikama and we're lucky. Some places we get tenti achar and Brishbasi roti. But you see this achar with it looks like big peas. Those are not peas, those are tenti. So this is what Lord Krishna had in his hand, a lump of chipped rice with yogurt, and this tenti achar was on top, and through these blue lotus fingers, this yellow mustard oil was dripping. This is a vision that Lord Brahma saw. The next chapter, so important chapter. So in whatever Goswami literature you read, they always quote from this 14th chapter of 10th canto. These prayers of Lord Brahma are so amazing. We've been hearing all week long, people are quoting verses. We're hearing all week long. Completely amazing chapter. So then Brahma, his realization was anybody and everyone can say they know Krishna or they understand Krishna. As far as I'm concerned, he's got 4 heads and he creates a whole universe. He says, I don't know a thing. I don't know a thing about Krishna. It's only by mercy of Srila Prabhupada that we know anything about Krishna. And it's only by execution of devotional service that we can understand anything about. How can we understand? We just read how all these calves and cowherd boys, they were complete replicas, even their mothers. The cows, they know the smell of their calf. Even the mothers could smell the same smell on this calf. And the gopis, now I asked the mothers here, do you think you could not recognize your own child? Do you think you would not be able to recognize your own child? There's 200 children in the playground and somebody cries. Immediately the mother, she knows, that's my child. But none of them suspected this is not my child. Krishna did it so perfectly. Unlimited cow boys, we can't imagine. And unlimited calves. And now they all turned into Vishnu. We heard this beautiful description of the Lord's form. This is not imagination. This is a factual. This is what we get a little glimpse. We're struggling along with our sadhana bhakti, but here's a little glimpse. What you'll get in the end, that is worth it all. We're getting a little taste, a little glimpse. This is one of the nicest verses, or two verses in Srimad Bhagavatam. So, Lord Brahma is completely astonished. You realize, like he says, I don't know a thing. I don't understand anything. Only by Krishna's mercy do we understand it. He says in Bhagavad-Gita, should we stop trying to understand Krishna? It's impossible. Even Brahma can't understand, so we should just give it up. We're wasting our time. But Krishna says, Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam jainamam upayandite. Very special verse in Bhagavad-Gita. Tesham, to those, satatam, constantly, bhajatam priti purvakam. We're doing my bhajan, how? With affection. Priti means affection. Dadami. If you know anything about Sanskrit, this is first person. Dadami. Means I give. If we want to understand this unlimited Lord, who are we? We can't even understand this one tiny planet. There's millions of planets and millions of universes, an unlimited universe. We can't even understand. There's so many mysteries on this tiny planet. Even in our own backyard, so many mysteries are there. We don't understand anything. We don't even understand how this body is working. It's just my body. But is anybody thinking, oh, I have to make the heart pump, bum, 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 bum. No, I have to make the lungs breathe. No, we're not thinking about it. We put the food in the stomach and we forget about it. We don't know that the stomach is there putting out digestive juices and squeezing it and doing so many things, and it shoves it into the intestines where even more things happen. And we don't know anything. We just enjoy the prasadam and bus. We don't understand anything. But Krishna says, Dadami, I give. You're trying to understand Krishna, but Krishna says, Dadami. You have to take out that you, put I. For Krishna anyway. That's our problem. It was I and mine. But anyway, Krishna says, Dadami, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. I give the understanding. It's not by our power, not by our... What is our austerity? We follow 4 regular principles. That's just to become a human being. It's not even austerity. Read the scriptures about, Durvasa Muni performing 10,000 years of penance. What is our penance? This tiny, puny little lifetime in Kali Yuga. Huh? Scripture says, Shastra says, 100 years. Who's living to 100 anymore? We read almost every day some 19-year-old kid had a heart attack and died. Who's living to 100? Nobody's living to 100. Huh? This tiny, puny little lifetime. We don't understand anything, and we're trying to understand Krishna. But if we just surrender to Krishna and follow his instructions, and chant, and serve, Priti Pur, with affection. What is our affection? We make the plate, we put it in front of the altar, and then as soon as the prasad comes, we can't wait. This is a trick with affection. With affection, Priti Purvakam. If we worship Krishna with affection, then Dadami, Krishna says, I give. Buddhi, Dadami Buddhi Yogam. I give them the intelligence to come to me. Next verse, I destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. With the shining lamp of knowledge. We see the sun, how shining it is, but we can't imagine the shining lamp of knowledge, real knowledge. I destroy their ignorance with the shining lamp of knowledge. Devotional service is so powerful. In this Kali Yuga, Lord has appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We were just talking about Durvasa Muni doing 10,000 years of penances. Then again he repeated 10,000. We can't imagine such things. Huh? Our little austerity, we give up some grains and stuff for Kartik for 1 month. What is our austerity? What can you do? Only you surrender to Krishna. In this age of Kali, Prabhupada said even the demigods are praying for birth in the age of Kali. Simply by chanting the holy name, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Simply by chanting Krishna's holy name. This is the service. This is the austerity. Read about all these great austerities that sages do. This is our austerity in culture, just to chant. We don't realize how valuable this holy name is. Satyananda Maharaj is saying, when you chant, you think, I'm chanting Krishna's name. I'm chanting Krishna's name. This holy name is so valuable simply by this chanting with affection. We can leave this dark material world and go back home, back to Godhead. We don't recognize how valuable it is. Even I go through those periods, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Rama Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, just mechanical. But every once in a while I stop and say, no, you can't chant like that. How would you like it, If somebody's singing your name like that, with affection, then you feel happy. This is the best austerity, because the yogis, they they stare at the tip of their nose so they won't see anything. They don't hear anything. And they don't eat anything. Don't do anything. If somebody comes over to your house and he sits down, he doesn't talk to you, he doesn't listen to you, he doesn't say anything to you. He's just staring at your nose. How will you feel? That's why this devotional service is so powerful. Krishna has conquered. Oh my goodness. This person doing austerities and everything. This one, he's bringing me nice foodstuffs and offering. Wow, he's singing nice songs. He's chanting my holy name with affection. Krishna is impressed. We have to remember Krishna is a person like you and me. His holy name is so powerful. Just this tiny, puny lifetime. We dedicated to chanting and serving Krishna and taking prasadam. We don't say don't eat. We just stop eating all this nonsense stuff. First you offer to Krishna, then you can taste any nice things. It wasn't a great austerity to give up. We won't mention what we used to eat before in front of this, our Lord's. One gulab jamun is all it took for me. I put that gulab jamun in my mouth. Bhavananda said he was a devotee who made me a devotee. And in the old days, we had the Janmashtami feast right at midnight, full on puri, halava, sweet rice, paneer sabji, gulab jamun, everything right at midnight. We didn't know anything in 1969, I don't remember when Prabhupada told, now you do a Ekadasi breakfast and on Prabhupada's Vyas Puja, then we have big grain feast with puri and everything, and gulab jamun. But the old day, I don't know how we survived. Eating all that right at midnight, after staying up all night. I don't know how we survived those days. So I was just amazed at this. I mean, first of all, I was a little bit of a cook myself. So I didn't know anything. I came to the temple on Janmashtami day, or day before Janmashtami actually, and then we woke up. And so we didn't have so many rules and regulations. They put me in the kitchen, not cooking, but I was helping. So I saw them take this dough and roll it flat as a piece of paper, and they had this golden liquid I'd never seen before, ghee. My goodness. And they heated it up, and they threw these little round wafers into the ghee. Boop! It blew up like a balloon. I said, this is magic cooking. I was amazed. And it's not that we went to the Indian store and we bought some besan flour and we made laddus. They had me grind the chickpeas. And you have to do it, first you do it rough. Comes out like gravel, then like coarse sand, then finally, each time you tighten it up, and finally, and I just understood, we have to give our energy to Krishna. I said, oh, Krishna's really going to like this. I'm really giving my energy. What energy? Brahma's creating universe, just grinding some chickpea flour. Krishna's really going to like that. I'm really... They made these besan laddus. My goodness. So I looked at that. So Bhavana looked at me, and he picked up the gulab jamun on his plate. He said, you know how to eat this? And I said, nope. And he took that gulab jamun. In those days, we soaked them for 3 days. That was the law. It has to soak for 3 days. He popped the whole thing in his mouth. I said, well, he can do it, I can do it. So I picked up this gulab jamun, tossed it in my mouth. Oh, the sugar juice started coming out. I thought it was never going to end. I said I made it. Bhavananda was always preaching these. He knew exactly where I was at. He was said, in the spiritual sky, touch is always heightening. Smell is always heightening. Sight is always heightening. Sound is always heightening. Taste is always heightening. You know, and you go like that, and I would just rush with him. He knew exactly where I was at. So I said, I'm there, I made it to the spiritual sky. It's never going to end. So I decided to become a devotee. They keep feeding me like that, I'm still here. This is our austerity, eating gulab jamans. Of course, don't eat too many. We used to have gulab jamun eating contests. I know one devotee, he got up to 90 and turned around and remember Varashram? Oh yeah. So chant Hare Krishna, take prasadam, follow these 4 regular principles just to become a human being. It's not an austerity actually, it's just to become a human being. And do some service. And study Prabhupada's books. That's how we get inspired. Whenever I'm in those modes, you know, Hare Krishna, Ram Ram Ram, Ram Ram, then I start studying Prabhupada's books and I remember, oh yes, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And Krishna dadami bhakti-yoga, I will give you understanding. We're not wasting our time unless we're doing it mechanically. But even mechanically will help. It says, the Bhagavatam says, the holy name, even unconsciously chanted, helps the person get free from the hurdle of birth and death. But we're after love of God, praying. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's supreme gift. Was hidden in all the flowery words of the Vedas. Now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's brought it to the forefront. Chant this holy name and take Krishna Prem. We don't understand what is Krishna Prem. And because everybody's already told all the stories, I'll tell one more story that I heard. I met one old Brahmin at Bisramgad in Mathura. If you ever go there, you see all these young Brahmins completely smashed on bhang, you know, and they're just bothering you for money. But this old Brahmin, he was very gentle, all white hair and everything, and he was very kind to me. And he took me aside, he said, I've been researching Krishna's Leela. He said, I want to tell you a wonderful pastime that I found. Because Brahma got his doubt, right? Because he saw Krishna was taking a bite of his laddu and giving it to his friend. His friend was taking a bite of his laddu and giving it to Krishna. He got doubt. What is this? Is this Bhagwan or is this some Banahui Bhagwan? Some cowherd boy made Bhagwan? Then after he realized everything, he said, what a fool I was. Krishna was biting that laddu and giving it to his friend. Can you imagine? Every day we offer the bhoga to Krishna on our altar and on our homes. Do we ever see Krishna eat it? We never see Krishna eat it. We have faith. Our Prabhupada told us, you offer like this, and you put tulsi leaf and Krishna will take it by hearing. We never saw Krishna eat. These cowherd boys were getting the real Mahaprasad. Krishna taking bite and saying, check out this laddu. Brahma said, I'm really missing out. So he is thinking, how can I get that Mahaprasad right from Krishna's mouth? But he's Brahma. He thinks I'm very big, I'm big Brahma. How can he go sit with the cowherd boys and just take a bitten laddu of Krishna? So he saw one day they were having a picnic near Manasi Ganga. What is that place? Brahmakund. There's a little kund, completely neglected now. I haven't seen lately, but in the old days it was completely neglected. So there's a little kund there, and cowherd boys were nearby. They were taking prasad. So he thought, when prasad is over, then Krishna and all the cowherd boys, they'll come to the kund, and Krishna will wash his hands in the kund, and I'll become a little fish, and I'll get some chewed remnants right from his fingers. I'll get some chewed remnants right from his fingers. But don't try to, he didn't learn the lesson. Don't try to trick Krishna. Krishna is in everyone's heart. He knows everything. So he knew what Lord Brahma was thinking. So he came here to that kund. He took some water from the kund, and over the dirt he washed his hands. Because unless you become a follower of the residents of Braj, you can't get Krishna's real. You can't get Braja Prem. And we're so fortunate. We have the best Brijabasi to follow. Prabhupada made Vrindavan. This place was a sleepy little town. If we saw 2 cars in one day, that was traffic. Prabhupada made Vrindavan. People are flocking here like anything. Everybody else, you're so impressed. You go to a temple and you see so many deities on the altar. But you don't know the history behind. They sold off some temple, put the deities with some other deities. Sold off another temple, put the deities there. Nobody was thinking of investing money in Vrindavan. Everybody was thinking how to get money from Vrindavan. What can I get? That's why you see so many deities. They sold off all the temples. Prabhupada was the first one to come here and invest a lot of money and build this huge, beautiful temple that I consider still to be the most beautiful. There's big marble temples here, very intricately carved, but this is still the most beautiful temple in Vrindavan. And Prabhupada invested money. Everybody was trying to take something from Vrindavan, but Prabhupada gave this Krishna Balaram Mandir to Vrindavan, and he gave Vrindavan to the world. So there's no more dear devotee to Krishna than Srila Prabhupada. So we got the most dear Brijbasi to follow. Hare Krishna. Any questions? Yeah.
This is the most beautiful and this is the most alive temple in Vrindavan. Now, my question is, Lord Brahma, he had darshan of Lord Krishna at the dawn of creation.
Yeah.
And he became, he forgot. And now he became bewildered. He didn't realize that this is the same golden that he had. Is there any more pastime where Lord Brahma became bewildered or forgot about the position of Lord Krishna?
He didn't really forget. This was Krishna's Yogamaya potency that everybody's been discussing all week long. Especially, we know Madhva Sampradaya, they never talk about this pastime. It's bewildering. But this is, as somebody said the other day, this is Krishna's, this Brahma's service to show the power of Krishna and his amazing ability. But I really don't know any other.
Anybody? Can't be. So it seems to me that Krishna never becomes envious. We become envious. Or we still are envious. And another quality that Krishna, I think, that he will never have is that forgetfulness. As Prabhupada says that, even if you do a little bit of service,
Hmm.
Am I correct or not?
Yes. Every day somebody is putting up some quote about how, that my devotee may not remember me, but I remember him. Okay, there's a question way in the back.
Hare Krishna, Guruji. Thank you for your wonderful class. A question came in my mind. I've been hearing about this pastime for so many days now. And it is explained how Krishna expanded into those calves and cowherd boys. And the mothers of the cows were so attracted to their own calves suddenly that they even were licking and such that they wanted to swallow them up. So much of this love was there. But now today you explained how all those expansions were actually Vishnu's. So this question just came up in my mind, that were they Vishnu's or were, it looks like they were Vishnu's. But Vishnu is worshipped in the root of awe and reverence. So where did this love come from? So my actual question is, were they Krishna, were they Vishnu's? And how, if they were Vishnu's according to this verse, then how did that kind of fame come, which is actually meant for Krishna only, and for Vishnu we only have awe and reverence?
Well, Prabhupada explains here that wherever there's Krishna, there's Vishnu also. So they were all Krishna, but just for this pastime, they expanded as Vishnu forms to amaze Brahma. Because that all week long we've been hearing that Krishna expanded personally. So just to make sure that there's no doubt, he showed all these Vishnu forms. You don't like that answer? Yeah, you can make a comment. I can't comment any more than that.
Yes, this little bit bewildering. But when Lord Krishna took birth in the womb of Mother Devaki, the four-armed form, that's not Lord Vishnu. That is the four-armed form of Lord Krishna. So it's the same thing. The four-armed form, Krishna here, is not Vishnu, it is Krishna himself.
The only thing that Prabhupada said is proves that they were not Vaikuntha residents. They were actually Krishna himself.
It's Krishna himself. Okay? Don't be confused. Lord Vishnu is also Krishna.
Chant Hare Krishna and take gulab jamuns. You'll understand one day. We'll understand one day. Okay. So, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. It's divine grace, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare